Hello everyone, my name is Jason Sirocco. I'm CTO for IoT at Sectigo. Today's webinar is going to be about protecting yourself from business email compromise, loss of intellectual property, and GDPR liability. A big part of the solution to all of that is MIME. Later in this webinar, I will be describing Sectigo's MIME solution and how it overcomes the past barriers to MIME adoption. We have all seen reports of email-based attacks in the news media. Sometimes it's called phishing or business email compromised or BEC. What these attacks have in common is that the attacker is able to spoof the origin of the email. Every day in your work life, you probably open emails that you simply assume is coming from your boss or other colleagues. You may even be trained to open emails as part of an official process and don't think too much about where the email came from. But here's a scary fact. With the basic email protocol, there's very little to protect us. If an email says it's from someone, we tend to believe it. Even worse, we also think we are good at spotting a fake. In reality, we're not. Should we be relying on our gut instincts to protect us from business email compromise? There has been a technology meant to help to verify email origins, and that technology is known as MIME. This webinar is going to help us better understand what this technology is and how it can help us, and also what has changed recently to enable this technology to be better utilized. The FBI reported a massive takedown of globally coordinated organized crime utilizing emails for fraud. This involved 74 arrests around the world, recovering approximately $14 million in fraudulent wire transfers. The FBI reported that crimes involved both large and small businesses. The bad guys did not discriminate. Everybody was a target. Reading directly from the FBI report will give us a sense for how successful the attackers were in various kinds of normal business patterns. How did they steal the money? Here's how. Number 1. Business executives. Criminals spoof or compromise email accounts of high-level business executives, including chief information officers and chief financial officers, which result in the processing of a wire transfer to a fraudulent account. Number 2. Real estate transactions. Criminals impersonating sellers, realtors, title companies, or law firms during a real estate transaction to ask the home buyer for funds to be sent to a fraudulent account. Number 3. Supply chains. Criminals send fraudulent requests to redirect funds during a pending business deal or invoice payment to an account controlled by a money mule or bad actor. Number 4. Law firms. Criminals find out about trust accounts or litigation and impersonate a law firm client to change the recipient bank information to a fraudulent account. All 4 of those attack patterns have something in common. It all came down to spoofing emails, spoofing who the emails came from. What if we could have a way of knowing that an email came from the origin that it claims? What if we could digitally sign an email so that people would know it's from us? This is one of the benefits of MIME, secure multi-purpose internet mail extensions. The FBI has warned us about business email compromise. We've been talking about that in the previous slide. The solution is to digitally sign emails. MIME is a technology that enables us to do this, and the best part is that email clients show when an email is digitally signed, as you can see in the screen capture on this slide. Notice the check mark and the word signed. This email is digitally and cryptographically verified to come from the source that it is claimed. Most major email clients support MIME, including the ones you use for work. But that's just for signing emails. What about protecting email entirely with encryption? MIME is also capable of encrypting your emails so that only you and the people that you intend to read the emails are able to. Stored emails are a target. They contain a lot of information about us and our businesses. An example was Sony. Almost 200,000 emails were compromised, resulting in an $8 million lawsuit, as well as other damages to their business. By encrypting emails, we are protecting our intellectual property, whether the email is stored on your server or in transit. MIME has been around since the late 1990s, so why hasn't it been more widely adopted? It used to be difficult or impossible to search on encrypted emails. Search functions depended on emails being stored in the clear. Additionally, MIME certificates require the storage of a private key. The physical means of doing this and the form factors used to be really difficult. Quite often, the protection of the private key didn't really happen at all. For the user, MIME used to be difficult to use because some MIME solutions forced the usage of non-native email clients. Nobody likes to be told to use a different email client other than the one that they're used to using. In summary, until now, nobody has mastered MIME key and certificate management. You may have heard about GDPR. If you're a citizen in Europe, or if you do business with citizens or businesses in Europe, you need to be aware. In 2016, the European Union passed legislation to protect privacy for its citizens. Article 25 of this law requires data protection by design and by default for all businesses and IT processes involving personal data. In short, this means encrypting your emails. By encrypting your emails, you reduce your liabilities and chance of data breaches. You not only mitigate potential penalties, but you are also protecting your intellectual property from theft. MIME email encryption is an important method of protecting yourself from GDPR liability, as well as protecting your business in general. Sectigo is one of the world's largest issuers of publicly trusted SSL certificates used to encrypt website traffic. This makes Sectigo one of the world's leaders in public trust. Our MIME certificates are publicly trusted, which means that any MIME mail application in the world will trust our digital signature with no configuration changes. How easy do we make it to use? Sectigo makes it zero touch, meaning that the certificates get to their users without any complicated intervention by the user. Sectigo believes in encrypting everything. Because our MIME implementation is so easy to use, it becomes invisible to your daily processes. This results in a high level of adoption, meaning that nearly 100% of emails stored on your server will be encrypted. Sectigo's MIME solution is publicly trusted, easy to use, enables a single key to be used on multiple devices, and also provides a complete management visibility. In other words, a single pane of glass for your administrator. This slide shows an example of what most major email clients see when an MIME signed email is received. This email is cryptographically verified to come from the source it claims. This defeats the BEC attacks described by the FBI. This slide shows examples of what it looks like when creating a new email before and after it is set to be encrypted. The lock symbol shows when the email is encrypted. What happens when an email is sent, signed by an MIME certificate that does not match the address in the email? You can see this in the screenshot on this slide. The user interface of your email client will show this clearly, helping to protect you from business email compromise. Sectigo's MIME solution automatically installs publicly trusted MIME certificates onto your email client. Your emails will be encrypted in storage and in transit. If your user loses their MIME certificate somehow, Sectigo provides an encryption key archive accessible to the secure email gateway, enabling email signing as well as encryption and decryption. Sectigo is the only vendor delivering these capabilities using publicly trusted MIME certificates. So, in conclusion, MIME is the means to protect yourself from business email compromise, intellectual property theft, and GDPR liability. But make sure you seek out an MIME solution that is publicly trusted, easy to implement, easy to administrate, and ultimately will be seamlessly adopted by your users.